Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins and welcome to the Black Financial Channel. I'm not going to be on here for long, but I wanted to really quickly come in and talk to you guys about this stimulus package. The stimulus package has been something that Trump and Pelosi and all these other politicians are fighting about right now. They're not sure when the stimulus is going to be passed. It's going to be a big deal when it finally hits and the checks go out and the stimulus is put into the hands of the American people. It's likely to lead to an economic boost. The problem is they can't figure out what they want to do. So I'm going to go through some of this. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done it yet. Please hit the thumbs up button. And also, please feel free to follow the Black Financial Channel on Instagram. Or you can also go to theblackfinancialchannel.com. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. So basically what they're saying here on CNBC is that the White House has offered $1.8 trillion as a stimulus package, which is higher than the original 1.6, lower than the 2.2 that the Democrats are asking for. And apparently Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats have outright rejected this latest offer. Basically what they're saying here is that Democrats and in the House and Republicans in the Senate expressed opposition Saturday to President Donald Trump's $1.8 trillion coronavirus stimulus offer, further complicating a week of already confusing negotiations and dimming hopes of a deal before Election Day. The offer is about $400 billion less than the $2.2 trillion that the Democrats are asking for, and Nancy Pelosi isn't happy about it. And of course, at this point, the deal isn't being passed or being pushed forward, and each party is putting most of their energy in making sure that when you're struggling through your financial disaster, that you just make sure you blame it on the other party. That's it. They don't care that the whole world's falling apart. All they care about is that you blame it on the other guy. Let's see here. They said, so despite these unaddressed concerns, I remain hopeful that yesterday's developments will move us closer to an agreement on a relief package that addresses the health and economic crisis facing American families. I would say that if they really wanted to address the crisis, they would have passed something by now. The fact that it's taken this long is really, really sad. Pelosi's calling for a deal that reinstates the $600 a week for unemployment benefits in addition to state unemployment. I think the Republicans were talking about maybe $400 per week. I would say something's better than nothing. Congress has failed to pass new aid for months as the virus continues to spread across the country and economic recovery slows. Pelosi said the administration's proposal lacks a strategic plan to contain the spread of the virus and has inadequate funding for state and local governments, as well as financial relief for American families. Now, what the Trump administration has stated is that they are willing to send checks out to people. They said they'd like to have one bill that sends checks out to everybody. And then they also said that they are willing to support loans for small businesses. They also stated something about the airlines. They'd like for the airlines to benefit. I don't know why particularly they, pulled that particular industry out of the pot. But just in case you want to know, in terms of what stocks I'm interested in, I like airline stocks and I like cruise ship stocks because I believe that after the election's over, the economy is going to miraculously recover. The virus is going to miraculously be eradicated. I don't believe that they're going to push this virus thing further down the road than they pushed it to this point. I've looked at data. I looked at the Wall Street Journal, and if you really want to get facts and information on what's going on with the virus, according to the Wall Street Journal, the 40% of the people that have died from the virus are people that are already in nursing homes. So these are people that are in long-term facilities who are already pretty sick. These are people that probably couldn't even handle the flu. And then I think 1% of the people that have died have been under the age of, I want to say 35 or 40 or something like that. So, again, if you've lost someone to the virus, then my heart goes out to you for sure. But this isn't exactly something that's going out and just taking people down no matter what. I mean, there's millions of people that have it, millions of people that survive. 99.9% of us will not die from the virus. So I think they know this, and I think that you know this as well. So what's going to probably occur? Here's what's going on. Here's what I see politically. I think that they want the economy to be wrecked. I think they want you to be in economic misery up to the election, and then they want you to see them as your only hope, right? So they disempower you to so that they, it's almost like it's almost like somebody who makes you sick so they can heal you. Like they give you a virus so they can give you the antidote so you can thank them for making you better. I think that this whole shutdown wasn't completely necessary, right? They didn't have to shut down the whole economy. What they really needed to do was tell people how to be safe, right? And you see people adjusting. Now you're seeing people starting to live life. We got a 10-year-old. She's going to a birthday party today. Now it's going to be limited. We're not inviting every kid in the neighborhood, but there's going to be 8 kids at this party because these are kids that play together every single day. We're not afraid. We're not thinking, oh my God, we're all going to die because the 10-year-old went to a birthday party. But our friends who watch MSNBC on repeat are saying, oh my God, how could you do that? That's crazy. Blah, blah. Well, that's because they've gotten you into a certain mindset, right? Now the anti-maskers obviously are going too far, right? When they don't want to wear masks and don't want to social distance, don't want to wash their hands. I think that's a little bit too much as well. But again, you had a long string of old fat Republicans catch the virus this past couple of weeks. I mean, they've been wilding out. They've spread it pretty badly amongst them. Donald Trump is 74 years old and he's overweight, and they all recovered, right? So this does not mean that the virus isn't real. I'm not trying to give you your opinion on that at all. What I'm saying is that it's not going to kill everybody. It's not even going to kill the majority of Americans. It's not going to kill even 0.1% of all people in this country. But what is going to affect 99.9% of all people is shutting down the entire economy. And so I think that what's going to occur is this. If Trump wins, the revolution will continue. There's always going to be a fight, right? Our politicians are always going to fight with each other. That's never going to go away. Every time the Democrats win, they're gonna be undermined by the Republicans. That's what happened when you saw Obama in office. Every time the Republicans win, the Democrats are going to do everything to undermine them. And personally, it makes me sick because I think we should be doing what's best for the country, but we're beyond that point. I think that if the Democrats win, especially if there's a Democrat sweep, here's what's going to occur. The Democrats, if they sweep, they're going to go and they're going to pass a massive stimulus package, which is going to be really great because it's going to boost the market. It's going to boost everybody's economic situation because they're going to want to do this so they can say, haha, look, ding dong, the witch is dead. We killed Trump's presidency, and now look at how great things are. And now you're all safe because the virus has magically disappeared. It's not even on the news anymore, right? If Trump wins, it could be a little more complicated. They're not campaigning to try to win an election. I think that they're gonna pass a stimulus. It probably won't be as great as the one that you have right now, or the one that you should have right now, or the one that you'll have if the Democrats win. I don't really know exactly what America's going to look like if Trump wins the election. I don't know. I just can't quite visualize how that's going to play out for you economically. But what I can say is that, if you want to know what I'm doing, I'm living my life. I'm not sitting at home, afraid to go outside. I'm traveling all around the country. I'm going to take my kids overseas probably in the next couple of months. I'm not waiting for the politicians to decide that I can live my life again because it's all a big game. And I think it's sad because people need that money. People need them to make a deal, like figure it out, start with where you are, pass little bills, get little things out there so people can have something to work with. And I just don't know what to say. I think that investing is really a good way to go because Wall Street, for some reason, the stock market has been pretty resilient throughout all of this. And I think that what's happening is you're seeing that companies just have an ability to adjust. Jeff Bezos, he's richer now than he was when the pandemic started. Now, it might be because he's a terrible person, right? If you're a socialist, maybe you believe he's a horrible guy, right? Because they tend to just think rich people are all evil. But, whether you think he's a good guy or a bad guy, he's definitely a smart guy. And one thing you'll notice is that when the pandemic began, Bezos kept moving. He kept operating Amazon. He said, look, get mad at me if you want to, but we're going to keep going. And they just framed it in a certain way. They said, America needs us, so we're going to come through for the country. Well, really, they're saying, look, some people are going to get sick. Sure. Maybe a few people are going to die. Sure. But the good is going to outweigh the bad. Having, 500,000 people still have their job is going to outweigh the negatives of maybe a few people, having a bad outcome, right? Is that bad? Is that right or wrong? Nobody knows. Elon Musk is another guy. If you recall, Elon Musk in the very beginning, he said that the panic over the pandemic is stupid. That's what he said is stupid. Now, I don't know if I would have used that exact same language, but I think he was seeing what I'm seeing, that if you look at the actual numbers of the people that are actually dying, the numbers are not that big compared to the size of the country. 200,000 sounds like this massive number when you say it by itself, but 200,000 numbers mean nothing without context. I'm a mathematician. I can tell you numbers are relative. If I say that that the government's going to spend $10 billion next year on the entire economy, well, that sounds like a big number, but that's nothing. You can't run the government on $10 billion, right? But if you don't have context, then you're going to think 10 billion is a pretty big number, but it's not a big number if you're talking about running the entire government. So 200,000 is about 2/3. If you take 1% of the country and you chop that into 10, so you take 1/10 of 1% of the country, it's about 2/3 of 1/10 of 1% of the country. And if 40% of those individuals are already in nursing homes, if you extract the number of healthy people that this virus has taken out, if you take out the number of healthy people, you're probably talking about 1 in 5,000 people. 1 in 5,000. That's still sad. Death is always sad, but people die every day. 7,000 people die every single day in America just because. Thousands of people die every year from heart disease, diabetes, strokes, the flu, car accidents, all kinds of things, right? So this sort of magical idea that we want to eliminate death, like under all circumstances, that's not realistic. That's absolutely positively silly. And I think that it's sad because the economic damage is going to be massive. And this is not me speaking as some sort of capitalist. This is me speaking as a person who advocates for people, and having the ability to feed their families, the ability to take care of your damn kids, the ability to pay your mortgage every month. People are getting evicted. Their offices are overflowed with young people who are suicidal because they've lost their youth. They don't understand it. They're sitting there thinking, wait a minute, I'm 20 years old. My chances of dying from this virus are about 1 in 50,000. Why do I have to stay home? Why can't I go out on a date with a girl? Why can't I go back to school? Why can't I live my life? So if you want to know what I think we need to move forward. I think that that the media loves to tell you about the number of cases, but pay attention. They never talk about the number of deaths because not that many people are dying on a relative scale. The number of deaths is not that high compared to the number of people that die on a typical day in the United States. They always talk about cases. So with the Republicans, it's like, 10 new Republicans caught the virus this week and 10 Republicans will recover. The Rock, his whole family caught the virus. They all recovered. Idris Elba had the virus. His family had the virus. They all recovered. Donald Trump and his crew, they all got the virus. They all recovered. So maybe the virus is just a virus, like herpes is a virus. Imagine if every single day you turn on the news and they told you how many new Americans caught herpes today. Like seriously, like a lot of people have it and don't even know if they have it. I know a doctor who was talking about, she said, every time we test people for herpes, they almost always have it and they have no idea that they have it. And they think no one else has it. They think very few people have it. And she said, everybody we test, she said 75% of the people we test have it, but they don't even know because they just assume somebody else has it or they don't care. Right. So so in a way, Corona is not, it has to be seen for what it is. And I think that's the part that I wish we would do is just see it for what it is. It is nowhere near death sentence. It's not HIV. It's not Ebola. It is a virus. It's barely a super flu. It's pretty much like a really, really, really horrible flu. Right. And I'm not saying it's exactly like the flu. It's not. But it doesn't kill the majority of the people that it infects. And most people are never infected in the first place. And I think that destroying the economy in order to make your point or keeping America captured in fear in order to win the election, that's almost criminal because there is an infringement on people's liberties. I know some really rich people who think that everybody should just stay inside forever, just for the next year or for the next 9 months or until a vaccine comes out. And I had to confront a couple of my friends and say, well, the reason that you can say that is because you've got $8 million in the bank. And maybe if you didn't have $8 million in the bank, if you had $80 in the bank, maybe you'd see things different. Maybe you would see it as, I need to wear my mask. I need to wash my hands. I need to be very careful, but I got to go to work. There is no way on this earth you would stop me if I was a construction worker or a cab driver or a police officer or a whatever or a teacher. There's no way you could stop me from going to work in this environment to feed my family. Nothing you could do. Even if you tell me I have a 1 in 3,000 chance of dying, well, guess what? I'll take those odds any day of the week. any day of the week. So anyway, that's it. I didn't mean to ramble so much, and I'm not here to tell you what your opinion is. I'm here just giving a point of view. And overall, what I would say to you, since on the Black Financial Channel, we always talk about the financial stuff. You guys got to forgive me. I'm not talking completely right. I got some dental work done for my dental health, and it's kind of still slowing me down a little bit. So I apologize for that. But on the Black Financial Channel, since we talk about the financial stuff, I want you to do what's best for your family. And so I will just tell you that in general, the stimulus is going to be huge in terms of moving the market. I believe they will make a deal. They may not make a deal before the election. When they finally do, it's going to be a boost for the market. Also, I'm really big on the recovery stocks, the airlines and the cruise ships and casinos and all that. I believe that once as we get closer to a vaccine, you're going to see the economy feel a little bit safer. You're going to start seeing signs of a recovering economy, which is going to lead to, I think rises in a lot of the cyclical stocks. And in fact, actually, ironically enough, the fact that Donald Trump caught the virus and a bunch of Republicans caught the virus actually could probably benefit your portfolio. And the reason I say that is because, the whole time when you're hearing the story in the media saying, they're just telling you all the people that caught the virus. They're announcing all the people that died, almost celebrating this, right? And it's easy to believe that everybody's catching it, everybody's dying, right? So then when all these Republicans catch it, that's a moment of truth. And that's a moment where you're saying, okay, so since 80 Republicans caught it and they're all old and fat, then at least 20 of them have to die, right? We should be hearing, President Donald Trump, succumbed to the virus today. His aide, his chief of staff also succumbed. His wife, Melania, is on a ventilator, right? You're expecting to hear that, right? And if you hear those stories, then that confirms the bias. But if you don't hear those stories, then you must also consider that maybe it was a little bit of marketing that was going on there. Like sometimes when the media markets something to you, you think it's more common than it actually is. It's like I compare it to little black boys, all thinking they're going to go to the NBA, right? They're all watching the NBA finals and they're seeing all these black men who are NBA players. They all think it's easy to get to the NBA because everybody they see on TV is an NBA athlete, right? But they don't realize they never get a chance to see the tens of thousands of other men who tried to become NBA players who never made it to the league, right? If you ever want to really see some depressing stuff, watch those shows where they show you all the guys that show up to camp and are trying to make the team, and they're amazing athletes and they dedicated their life to it, and the majority of them don't even make the team. And the one guy who does make it, he's like on special teams for like a third of the season, and then he gets cut a few months into the season too, right? Like that's a more realistic portrayal of how hard it is to become an NBA athlete. So I think the same thing is true with the virus. If you're only announcing people that caught it and only announcing people that died, you're not hearing about all the millions and millions and millions and millions of people who caught it and were just fine. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that people aren't dying. I'm saying it's like driving a car. I'm not going to say people won't die in a car crash, but most people don't. Most people don't die when they get in their car to drive to the grocery store. So, but you could die. You could die anytime. Like death in a car crash is real. So don't go out here driving crazy and being stupid. You should drive safely and protect yourself, right? That's what you do. Okay. So anyway, let's see here. How do you catch a hoax? I don't know. I just signed up for your options masterclass. Yeah, feel free to go check it out. If you go to the Black Business School, theblackbusinessschool.com, I do have a recording of my stock options masterclass. So feel free to go check that out. Stock options are a great way for you to learn how to invest. It's really an awesome kind of way to allow you to actually manage your risk in your portfolio a little bit better. You can take on more risk, create some leverage. You can minimize risk. You can actually write call options. There's a lot of people who actually generate a substantial and consistent income by writing call options. And so what I'm going to do is give you guys a link in the blackfinancialchannel.com. I can't put it in Instagram, guys. I'm sorry. But if you go to theblackfinancialchannel.com, you can see the link. It's a link to get 30% off. And it's really good. And there's a money back guarantee. So if you're not happy for any reason, you just let us know. We give you your money back. But it's worth it. It's worth it to learn options, not just how to buy them, right? Buying options is what a lot of people are doing, but they don't know what they're doing. They're just buying it because they're kind of gambling. It's like a casino kind of thing where they're just sort of, they want to be able to put in $100 and turn it into $500. And sometimes it works that way. In a bull market, it works, sometimes, right? But you can also lose everything. But a smarter use of options is to manage your existing portfolio, maybe minimize your risk, generate income. And one of the things that I show my students that I think is really powerful is how to pick the options that actually allow you to make the most income from writing the call options. I used to be big on buying property. I used to be really big on getting getting property, renting it out, and I still am. I still believe in that, right? We own property, Alicia and I do. But I showed Alicia, I said, okay, babe, if we have an extra, 50 grand, here's how much we can earn if we went out and bought a low-cost condo and rented it out. We'd make this much. Maybe it's, $800 a month or $1,000 a month or whatever. And then I showed her a couple of stocks. I said, this is how much money I make from buying the same amount of stock and writing call options every month on this stock. And literally the number is about 3 times higher. And I said, and on top of that, I don't have to be a landlord. I don't have to go through all these complex real estate transactions. I can do this on my phone in my bed. And so I will just tell you guys, one thing that I recommend you looking into is writing call options as a way to generate income. It does work. And I don't, in fact, I don't even really talk about stuff. I've known about this for a while, but I never really talked much about it because I wanted to actually do it. Like most things I recommend, or I'm not even recommending because this is not investment advice, but anything I even tell you guys about, these are things I've tried. These are things I've done. And believe me, I generate my income, the vast majority of my income, from writing call options on the stocks that I own. Like that is legitimately something that you may want to look into. It's kind of next level investing. And it's a little bit more interesting than just buy and hold, right? Like just buying stock and just sitting there waiting for it to grow. That's capital gains growth. But the reason I dug into it more deeply and created a whole curriculum around it is because a lot of you were asking, well, how do I get money out of my stocks? Well, I don't want you selling your stocks, right? I want you to own your assets. But I understand the need to generate income. And what happens is if you buy certain stocks that have certain characteristics, then you're able to actually find stocks that will allow you to generate income, not by, a bunch of gambling, like buying options. That's a lot like gambling. But actually you get to be the house. So what happens, I'll give you an example. So with Tesla stock, for example, Alicia and I own a bunch of Tesla. Tesla is a highly speculative stock. People love Tesla. And what happens is that because everybody loves Tesla, because all the Robinhood investors just love the hell out of Tesla, they love to buy the options. And because they all buy the options, well, supply and demand pushes the price up. So these Tesla options get really expensive. And I don't want, and the rule of making money is buy low, sell high. So when something's overpriced, you don't want to buy it, you want to sell it. So rather than buying expensive Tesla options, I don't buy those options. I sell those options. So I own the stock, but to sell the options, you have to own the stock. So I put a bunch of the money in there, bought a bunch of shares of Tesla, and I just write options on Tesla stock. And I'm like, hey, if you want to speculate and you want to gamble, go right ahead because I want to be the house. Just pay me my money and I'll let you gamble with my stock. And that's literally how we generate income on Tesla stock. Workhorse, yes, Workhorse is a great company. The thing about Workhorse, you got to be careful about those. And Workhorse has that big decision coming up with the USPS contract. A lot of experts believe that Workhorse is going to get that deal, which is going to be worth billions to the company. It's going to skyrocket. The stock's going to do even more than what it's been doing this year. I mean, that stock has been insane. Like I'm not going to tell you, I've made a shit ton of money on Workhorse stock. I'll just say that. But whenever you see yourself making a lot of money, you always have to look around to look for where the other shoe will drop. Never, ever get too comfortable making money off of one particular stock because that's how you get caught up. That's how you get in trouble. That's how bad things happen. So what I found was that the big risk, and this is what they call jump risk. In finance, we call that jump risk. Jump risk is the risk that things could just instantly change overnight. Like if you're a drug dealer and you're making all this money delivering packages every day, and you're like, look at this is easy. I'm making all this money just delivering packages. Well, you're exposed to a lot of jump risk. And what that means is that every day is going to be pretty calm, pretty normal. You're going to be making your money. You're going to get comfortable. And then there's that one day where you get your brains blown out or you get taken away to prison for the next 80 years, right? Then suddenly your whole life changes because you were exposed to a risk that you didn't even know was there. Well, I feel like Workhorse has jump risk. I feel like something could happen to Workhorse in this deal that could absolutely murder the stock. So if you want to know how I'm responding to that, I'm buying put options on that stock as they get closer to this USPS deal. I sell call options on the stock. I've made a ton of money doing that, and I own some shares just outright. So that if the upside does come, if the big deal comes through, then guess what? I'll be having a party that day because that stock is going to make us a ton of money. But be very careful with those stocks because it's a highly volatile stock and it's a volatile situation. So Workhorse is on my mind because Workhorse is one of the stocks we've talked about a lot in class, and I like it. It's been like a ATM machine. But that USPS deal, even though all the experts think that they're going to get the deal to make the electric trucks for the Postal Service, I think that I saw one analyst who said that they're not going to get this deal and they're not ready to serve the USPS and their equipment is not as good as people think. That made me very nervous, and I don't want to get killed and lose a bunch of money. All right, guys. So I'm out of here. Once again, if you want to take a look at that stock options masterclass, there's a 30% discount. It's right there pinned at the top of the comment section at theblackfinancialchannel.com. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. Also follow the Black Financial Channel on Instagram. We talk about financial stuff every day. And if you could, please hit the thumbs up button before you go. Hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. And I'm out of here. I'll see you soon. And thank you for not making fun of me as I talk like a little bit like Daffy Duck. I'm a black man trying to have good dental health. Y'all should be clapping for me. Y'all need to clap for me because I'm trying to do better. Anyway, take care. Love you. See you soon. Bye-bye.